Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining. It's Darnell, and I am here with a very informative video. So, just in case some of you have been wondering exactly what do I do? What do I use? This video is definitely going to teach you all those things. So, there's 5 things that I use from time to time to sleep with my locks, and I don't always follow the same method each night, but best believe I probably use each of these methods together or definitely every night. So let's just get into it. Okay, so one of the things that I use to sleep with my locks from time to time, depending on the circumstances, is a satin scarf. And this is just an example of one. This one is pretty short, it's not that long, but I would normally just fold it into a big triangle like this and wear it over my locks. Because it's not that big, it only will cover like this front, maybe a little bit of the middle section. So if I just did a retwist and I just want my hair to lay a little bit flatter and a little bit neater, then I would wear one of these scarves. It doesn't happen often because I just enjoy the freedom of not wearing one more, but this is an option just in case. Okay, the second item that I may use to sleep with my locks is, believe it or not, a slap cap. So I have these, I actually had them in like other colors too, but these were 2 of the first ones that I got. I bought these back when I had my loose natural curly hair. And I'm just mentioning that to you because these have like a very stretched out elastic band around the head, which works in my favor because it allows me to be able to fit more of my locks in there without it being too tight around my head. Um, some of my newer slap caps, the elastic band was a little too tight for me. So I don't know if that is an issue that remained the same over the years, but I think it's definitely worth a try. Maybe it was just my head. My head is kind of big. But these are caps that on the outside is pretty stretchy, and on the inside is actually lined with satin on both sides. So it's pretty nice. It keeps all of the hair compact. And how I wear it, I normally just put one of these on, and I fill all of my locks into it. So it ends up being like this really big hat on top of my head. But it's so comfortable, so soft, and it doesn't slip off in my sleep. So that's a good thing. If you haven't tried using one of these to sleep in, you might want to take a look into it because I find it to be very helpful. So the third thing that I may use to sleep with my locks is something that I find to be very easy to use, and that's a satin pillowcase. So you can easily order these online. They sell them like everywhere. You can even get them at like the dollar store, like Family Dollar or something like that. I did buy them from Family Dollar before. I think that's where this one is from. I can't fully remember, but I know I definitely purchased some from the dollar store before and it was perfectly fine. It worked out, it did its job. And what I would do is I would put my pillow inside of the pillowcase, and to go to sleep, I would literally just grab my locks like this and just lay them over my pillow because I'm more of like a back sleeper for the most part. So I would just do that and everything's fine. I wake up, my hair doesn't look like anything happened to it. It just glides over the satin pillowcase, and it's actually one of my most comfortable ways of sleeping with my locks. So if you don't have a satin pillowcase, I suggest that you invest in one. I have about 4 of them, and like I said, I always have one of these on my pillow. I even travel with them. So when I know that I'm actually going to be leaving town or going somewhere else that's not my house, this is in my suitcase because I make sure I'm protecting my hair every time I go to sleep. The fourth thing that I use to sleep with my locks, sometimes, this is not all the time, but sometimes, is actually a towel. So this little towel is very thin. Sometimes I do use a thicker one, but I would use a towel whenever I wash my hair at night and I don't want to sleep on wet locks because that's pretty uncomfortable, to say the least. So I would just use one of these and I would wrap my head in it, like a turban, a big turban, and I would just lay down and go to sleep that way. And I haven't found it to be uncomfortable. It works for me. I don't tie it too tight. And when I wake up the next day, the ends of my locks, which are the parts of my hair that stay, the most wet after washing them, everything is dry and I'm happy. So if you haven't tried that before, you can try to wrap your locks in the towel if your hair is still wet, or even lay the towel across your pillow and do it that way. Some of you may think that's like too drying and too harsh. It just depends on your preference and what it is that you have to do, or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. For me, I'm trying to accomplish not sleeping on wet locks. That's why I try to wash my hair during the day so that I can just let it air dry on its own without any kind of like manipulation or extra drying item being added to it. But in those moments when you can't really prevent that from happening, this is an option. Just know it's there for you. And now the fifth thing that I may use to sleep with my locks is something that's very small and pretty simple to use, and that's a scrunchie. So this one is a pretty big one. It's actually made for like thick hair. So I would just use one of these, put my hair into a bun, a very loose bun on top of my head, and just sleep that way. And that has been pretty comfy as well. That's for those nights where I just don't feel like being bothered with everything else. If I don't feel like wearing a slap cap, if I don't feel like wearing a scarf, when I do this, when I do wear my hair in the bun, I do have a satin pillowcase on my pillow because that's just the way I have my bed set up. Like, there's no getting around that. But for those that don't sleep on a satin pillowcase, you can do this. You can wear your hair in a loose bun on top of your head, keeps your locks out of your way as you're tossing and turning in your sleep, because that can be a little annoying to go to roll over and you have to stop and like move your locks out the way. It's happened to me before. So I hope you all have enjoyed listening to the different things that I may use in order to sleep with my locks. I hope you learned something. If any of these items are not new to you, then I hope that I was able to just remind you and inspire you to keep it simple. It doesn't have to be like a big production to go to sleep with locks. Like, you just keep it as simple as possible and you'll find that that actually will work the best for you. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here, welcome. Welcome to the Loc Journey. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I do have a bunch of videos coming your way. Trust and believe. They're there. They're coming. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer you as soon as I possibly can. And if you guys see that someone asked a question that you may have the answer to, feel free to actually jump in and share some of your ways and your methods, because that's the whole purpose of this, for us to learn from each other. So I thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.